this is Julia back again for another Newfound Reads, where I get a chance to talk to Newfoundland authors or authors who write about Newfoundland and Labrador things. So today I get to talk to Jan Morrison, author of The Crooked Knife. Welcome, Jan.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. Your book, we can't keep it on the shelf. It's really popular. And I love a good mystery myself, so it's definitely on my to-be-read list.
Good.
So I've been reading some of the reviews of your book, and it's been described as a Canadian North Noir. How do you feel about that description?
I love that description. I invented that description.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like, give us a definition of Canadian North Noir.
I think particularly noir is considered to be kind of a dark view of things. And I wouldn't say this is entirely a dark view, The Crooked Knife, but it's set in a place that is extremely vulnerable, and it's set among people who are more than vulnerable to things that happen in their landscape. And the landscape in The Crooked Knife, the landscape of Labrador, is an essential part of this book. And I really wanted people to understand with that description that they were looking at a particular place with particular problems that beset it, that might be different from a town in southern Ontario, a place even on the, say, the coast of BC. The north is different. And the Labrador, the eastern Arctic, is quite different, again, even from other areas in the north. So it's very important to me that people understand a part of this country that many people have never been to or have any experience of.
So I've talked to other authors who write about, or other authors who write set in Newfoundland. So they have either mainland Newfoundland or in Labrador. So do you feel like the setting itself is actually a character in your book?
Yes. In fact, the crime underneath the crime in the book is, I would say, the death of what I call Otter Falls, the falls that have been destroyed by big corporations, and the environment that's been abused because there's not enough people or people with enough power to stop that from happening. So yeah, the land is the land protectors and the river keepers are part of the background of this story. Environmental activists who really care about the land and the people.
It's a story within a story.
Yeah, sure.
So I find the cover is really intriguing. And can you tell me a little bit about what the Crooked Knife means?
Well, the Crooked Knife is a weapon in this book, but it's also a symbol of a group of people that get together that want to fight common concerns. And because the Crooked Knife is a tool that was used by the Innu, by the Inuit, and by the settlers, I thought it could be a good symbol of how they get together and try to work with each other.
So Nell Munro is our main character. If I were to meet Nell Munro in, say, Tim Hortons, I come upon her, what kind of person is she? What would be the first thing that I would notice about her when I meet her?
Well, she's passionate. She's feisty. She does not like people telling her she can't do something. She's extremely intensely passionate about the youth that she's involved with. So she started as a counselor and then decided she wanted to be an RCMP officer in order to further serve her community. She gets in trouble. She's got a bad temper from time to time. She can be a bit impetuous. And yeah, she has a bit of a background herself, so.
I would love to have a cup of tea with her.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, if she would sit still long enough for me to have a cup of tea with her. Sounds like she's pretty busy. So, would you happen to have a short passage that you could read to us from the book?
Sure. I don't want to read anything that's gonna.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Yeah. So this is, I'll just set the scene a little bit. This is Nell. There's already been a murder, but that happens right at the beginning of the book, so we don't have to worry about that. And she's gone to think about things that she's been hearing, and she's going to her happy place, which is the beach in front of her house in Northwest River. So the beach was dark, the sky clear with a sliver of a moon. Because it was supper hour, there were no other dog walkers in sight. Beanie was off leash. One of the true treasures of living in a small village right on the beach was that we hardly ever had to have him on a lead. It was always good to be on the beach. No matter the time of year or day, it was a beautiful sanctuary. Scanning the horizon, I was rewarded by a strange glimmer to the north. I either imagine northern lights when there are none in sight, or they are right there and I'm busily turning them into something else. This was the latter. My first thought, although I'd seen the crescent moon already, was that a full moon was rising. It appeared like a swirling cloud of smoke, except that a person knows you can't see smoke against a night sky. Then I realized what it was. The clouds started undulating and the color changed from white to a luminous green. The colors hung like organza curtains in the breeze and changed again to a deep rosy hue, like a not quite ripe plum. I'm not one of those people who think seeing the northern lights is ho-hum. Each time I see them, and it's been over a dozen times so far, I'm grateful for the sight. Gossamer silk fireworks without the bang, but plenty of awe. Beanie was off on a chase. I found a log, brushed off the snow, and sat down to watch the show. Some like to hoop and holler and dance back at the lights, but that is not my way. I let my mind go blessedly blank, and my senses came to the fore. After the lights had pulsed and danced and dimmed and my butt was nearly frozen, I looked for Beanie. I could hear him way down the beach, and I headed in that direction. Maybe he was responding to the crazy ass howling contest conducted by the Huskies in the yard of one of the last houses. Or maybe he had found some creature that had flown or jumped up at the wrong moment. Just then I saw Beanie near the entrance to the woods. As I moved forward to grab his collar, someone grabbed mine. They had me held from behind, a gloved hand over my mouth. I bit down hard, but they kept hold of me. Quit struggling. I'm not going to hurt you. I have a message for you. Leave this alone. It isn't any of your concern. If you don't, you might find those dumbass kids you care so much about in worse trouble than they're already in. With that, the attacker pushed me hard enough that I landed on my hands and knees and slid across a snow skittery surface. By the time I got up, the person or persons was gone, disappeared back into the woods, leaving me licking my wounds and holding on to my silly dog who'd come just in time to miss the show.
I love the organza curtain reference. That just like totally, like I could totally see what she was seeing when you were describing that. So
Good.
Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And we can't wait to see what Nell's next adventure is.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
I
so
better
much.
get to writing it.